Hi, I'm Jo, MapAction, and this is Bel Hewitt, who is a volunteer with MapAction, who has been doing quite a bit of work for us on defining a new diversity policy for the organisation. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So I'm Bel. I've been with MapAction for around 4 years now on the volunteer team, and my background's in environment and engineering as well as international development. So this area of gender inclusion is something I've been very interested in, along with many in the team. And I think MapAction for the last few years has been taking a close look at diversity and inclusion across the team, and realised that while this is an area that's incredibly important to our organisation, we deploy into very challenging, diverse environments where having diversity on the team brings a huge amount of value, as well as we think that's just the right thing to be promoting within our organisation. We're also looking at the fact that definitely there are areas within the team where we are underrepresented in different aspects of diversity, whether that be gender or ethnicity. And we'd really like to take action to improve that.
Mm-hmm. And this is an issue for the sector broadly, isn't it? It's
Absolutely
something that is a challenge for different organisations.
Absolutely. So particularly in STEM or science, technology and maths, or other the technical area that GIS falls within, having particularly gender representation is a real challenge. So MapAction is working within that environment where driving an increase in diversity is something that's very much a strong agenda for many. And GIS is a field where actually we do have slightly better gender diversity than some other fields, but there's still a huge amount of work to do.
Yeah, and it's important for the people that our work ultimately benefits, isn't it? Can you say a little bit about how diversity in terms of people providing humanitarian services is important for the people sort of on the receiving end of that?
Absolutely. So having a humanitarian response team that is diverse can ensure that decision making around a humanitarian response actually takes into account an understanding and appreciation of what's most appropriate and what can provide the best outcomes for the stakeholders that we're serving. There was a really interesting ACAPS piece published just last month on strengthening gender diversity or strengthening gender analysis in the Rohingya refugee response, which highlights how if we take a closer look at gender analysis in the response, we can actually understand how crises and disasters are affecting different groups in different ways and provide a better response tailored towards them.
Great. So you've done quite a lot of work on our diversity policy.
That's right.
Can you say a little bit about, what are the main aims of that? Where do we want to get to with that?
Sure. So obviously the diversity inclusion policy is looking both at increasing diversity within the team. It's also looking at supporting inclusion, and that means that everyone in the team feels welcomed, feels supported and included basically across the team. Because we're a volunteer-based organisation, that's particularly important for us. So the the policy has 6 main focus areas. This ranges from leadership, organisational planning and culture, recruitment, team activities, how we service our stakeholders and engage with them, as well as monitoring and evaluation procedures for continual improvement. And those are sort of the 6 main areas we'll be working on over the next years.
Okay, so during 2020, this is going to be quite a big area of focus, isn't it?
Absolutely. So we do have a recruitment process, our volunteer recruitment process coming up. And for the last couple of years, we've been looking at how we can bring diversity more strongly into that process to improve those outcomes through looking at aspects such as blind screening, such as having more diverse interview panels and reaching out to different industry groups to try and get better diversity representation through our applicants.
Yeah.
So that's something we're looking at very strongly at the moment.
Great, thank you. So perhaps we should try and catch up in about a year and see where we're at, where we've
great.
got to.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, Bel.